Alright, to graph and solve a system of inequalities now. It's going to be very similar to how we were just graphing our inequalities, except now we're going to have three of them to graph, and the overlap of those three places will be the place where our solution is. So if I look at my first one, I've got my y is greater than or equal to 2x minus 3. My slope is going to be 2 over 1. My y-intercept, which I'll call my b, is going to be negative 3. So I go to graph this, I will put a spot at negative 3. My slope is up 2 over 1. Put a point that is up 2 over 1. And now I can connect my two dots with a line. Now since it is a inequality, and since it is greater than or equal to, I can connect it with a solid line. Remember, greater than or equal to is a solid line. Now I'm going to test and see which side I have to shade. If I plug in the point 0, 0, and I plug it in for my first one, I will get y, because I said I'm going to plug in 0, 0, so y is 0 is greater than 2 times 0 minus 3. So I get 0 is greater than or equal to a negative 3. That is true. Since that is true, I know for this one, I'm going to shade everything up here. So this will be my solution area for my red inequality. Now I'm going to do my blue inequality next. And you can see that one says that y is greater than negative 3. So we're going to go on this graph to where y is at negative 3, which will be this point here. And it's going to be a solid line going across since it is greater than or equal to negative 3. So I have a solid line here. And now to shade it, since it's greater than negative 3, I know for y to be greater than negative 3, it's got to be everything above that line. So I'm going to shade everything above that line. And now you can start to see where I have overlap. That overlap is going to be where my solution area is. So this section over here, where I can start to see some overlap, is going to be a part of my solution. This section over here then really isn't that important, but I can keep it on there just for the sake of understanding how to graph these things. And I know I have black on there, but let's do orange for this bottom equation. So for y is less than or equal to negative x plus 2, we're going to use orange. My slope is going to be at negative 1. I'll write it as negative 1 over 1. My y-intercept is going to be a positive 2. So I'm going to go to positive 2, and I'm going to put a dot. And I'm going to go down 1 over 1. It's going to look like that. And I'll put my line for this last line right there. Now I have to check which side to shade. Again, since 0, 0 is not a part of that line, I can use 0, 0 as my testing. So I'm going to use x equals 0, y equals 0. If I plug that in, I'm going to plug x in here and y in here. I'll get 0 is less than or equal to negative 0 plus 2, which gives me 0 is less than or equal to a positive 2, which is true. So I can go ahead and shade the side of this graph where 0, 0 is at, which is going to be this whole area down here. And now you can kind of see where I have this overlap. This overlap now is going to be the area of my solution. The area that's below the orange, above the red, and above the blue line. So that black area right there is going to be my solution area, and I will use some yellow here to point it out. So this right here will be my solution, which means any point that I pick that's in this solution if I plug the x and the y into all three of these inequalities, I plug in my x and my y for all three of these inequalities, I will get true statements.